We're going to be talking about resilience. So really resilience is a really key thing that we need right now, going through, yes, another lockdown. There would be, if I was talking about resilience at any other time, it's obviously really important, but I think right now it's pretty vital that we all can stay resilient. We're going to have times when we're struggling, especially for, I guess, for teachers. You're probably the profession that's been put through their paces the most during this. Doctors, nurses, obviously, at this moment in time, working in lots of tough conditions. But I think teachers have had a pretty tough time. So staying resilient and looking after yourself. So hopefully this next 15 minutes is your time where you can sort of take a look at your own self-care and maybe some things that you can do. So resilience, very basic. It's the capacity to recover quickly from difficulty. It's our ability, I guess, like a rubber band, to be able to withstand things when things go wrong. So what we're going to be sort of looking at today is ways of we can try and improve that and bolster that in this sort of difficult time that we're going through. I've just thought I'd bring up a quote. I mean, Jim Carrey is not a guy that potentially you might look at and go, a really healthy type of person, maybe. I don't know, but he came out with this saying, which I think sums it up really, is that when he's talking about depression and if you're feeling down, but in his statement here, he believes in it, but also, and I fully agree with him, also believe that if you don't exercise, eat nutritious food, get sunlight, get enough sleep, consume positive material, surround yourself with support, then you are giving yourself a fighting chance. And I think he sums up resilience in almost a really good way there, in the fact that resilience is a word that encompasses lots of things. So to be able to stay resilient through lockdown isn't necessarily just one thing that you can do. It's a combination of things, and all of these things are almost more challenging right now during lockdown than they would be normally. So we actually have to really try hard to do it. And we probably haven't got the energy, we're all doing stuff differently. But there's some really, really key basic things, which I'm just going to run through in the next 10 minutes, which we can do. And I'm going to finish off with a really simple breathing exercise that you can do. I did it last night, to be honest with you. I don't know whether it's lockdown that makes me necessarily wake up earlier, but I seem to be waking up earlier. I did it in lockdown 1, I'm doing it now, and it gets me back to sleep. So I think sleep's obviously really important. So I'll be going through that right at the end. But really the focus areas to try and help us stay resilient and get us through lockdown in the best way we possibly can. Just to recap on our previous 2 episodes or sessions, was sort of setting some goals, connecting with our why, building that motivation. But really within that is focusing on, at this moment in time, on some really short-term specific goals that we're in control of. And I think control is a really, really key thing here. It's focusing on things we can control. So it's not looking at the news channels. It's not thinking too far ahead. Very easy right now to get way ahead of yourself. So really just focus on what you can control. So if you're teaching right now, you probably can control how you're delivering your lesson maybe, but you can't necessarily control what the kids are doing at the other end. So if you start focusing on too much on what actually impact you're having, it's going to probably be a detrimental effect to you. So but if you focus on how you're performing and how you feel you're performing, then that's probably all you can do in this moment in time. So yeah, focusing on what we can control, and that's really helpful by doing some short-term goals, which we've obviously touched on last week. These are sort of the main fundamentals. So nutrition. Now, nutrition, we all know if you eat unhealthy foods or foods that contain processed foods, for example, it's going to make you feel crap. So the idea is, if we want to feel good about ourselves, nutrition is good. I'm 100% believer in the 80-20 rule. So we're not asking you to live like saints here. So you're eating 100% good food. At this moment in time, we all need our vices. I think it's really important that we look at your diet, look at what you're eating. But if you need a glass of wine every night, or not maybe every night, but a few nights a week, that probably isn't so bad. If what you're doing nutritional wise is giving you more than what it's taking away, then actually it's probably quite a good thing for now. I think maybe moving forward when we're out of lockdown, then maybe you address some of those other things. But I think right now you probably need to keep some of those. So I wouldn't be too harsh on yourself and shame yourself too much if you're eating more. But the idea is actually if you can do the 80-20 rule, so you're eating 80% really good stuff, you can allow yourself the 20%. Next thing, connection, really super important, really difficult right now because we can't connect. So this is one thing that actually during lockdown is something we really have to try hard at. It's not something that's going to come easy. It's something that we've got to really work on. So that you might have to get creative with this, you know, writing letters maybe, making phone calls when you don't necessarily want to make a phone call, having Zoom calls. I mean, doing this type of stuff. You know, I'm doing Zoom calls with a group fairly early every morning, 3 times a week. And although it's not as good as meeting up, it's still better than nothing. So I think connection is really important. Going out for a walk with one other person, you know, you've got to stick to the rules, but there are things you can do. And I think the thing is, you've got to try and really push yourself to do it sometimes, even though you might not want to. But all these things are building up a layer around you. If you imagine, if you're a ball, you're building up a layer of protection around that ball that these things are adding to. Sleep is huge. Sleep is another really key thing that you need to be trying to focus on. There's lots of things you can do. Device is one key thing with this. Device is out of the bedroom. If you have a device, if you have electronics in the bedroom, get it out of your bedroom. Just try it for a week, see how much better you can sleep. Physical activity. All of these things as well, by the way, are all in majority are in your control. So your physical activity, getting outside, get outside for 20 minutes a day, get your heart rate above 120 for 20 to 25 minutes a day. These things can release your good hormone, good endorphins. It's like a natural boost, really. So if you don't do that, you're missing a trick actually of trying to lift your mood. And then the final thing is meditation and mindfulness. Really what we're talking about here is breathing. As humans, we've become pretty poor at breathing, and we're going to go on to that next. So this is a really easy technique, and there's some really easy techniques out there to use to try and get our emotions under control. So if you suffer with any anxiety or you suffer from any stress, and to be fair, if you're not suffering with any, then you must be RoboCop, because, you know, if you don't get stressed by what is happening, then you're doing pretty well. So to get us back into the present moment, we can use our breath. What we find is that our breathing helps us control our emotions. And there is, I don't know whether anybody else has felt this, but there's such a thing as email apnea. So this is when you actually stop breathing when you receive an email that might not be a nice email. And I can imagine as teachers, you're probably getting quite a few of those emails. So what we need to try and do is we try and incorporate a breathing technique, which is really simple, that you can do while you're sitting down. It doesn't necessarily need you to be sitting cross-legged meditating. It's just a simple technique that by focusing on your breath can bring your emotions back under control, and can make you feel better. And all of these things, if you sit at a computer screen and you're looking at a computer screen all day or on Zoom, it's very easy to pick that level of stress to come up. And if you're not going out and exercising and you're not sleeping, then it's quite easy to get yourself in a negative chain of thought. So it's really important to focus on your breath. So I'd like everybody to do this if they can, while they're doing this. It's really straightforward. What we do is called boxed breathing. Now, this is a technique that the Navy SEALs apparently use when they're going into a sort of a tense situation, and it can be tweaked to also set off your sleep sort of system, so you can get relaxed before bed. And you need to be doing this not just now. Like if you do this now, it might make you feel a little bit relaxed, but it's one of those things that we need to try and practice. My wife has tried this. She tried it once, didn't work, so she didn't try it again. She is now doing it, and I'm very similar. So if I did it once, it didn't make much of a difference. If you do it and continually practice it, it's one of those things which your body will get used to, and you'll actually be able to use it, and it will happen quicker, so you can relax quicker. So very simply, you pretty much inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds. So I'm going to do this now. If you guys could try and join me, and we're just going to do it for maybe 2 to 3 cycles. And if any of you got Apple Watches or anything like that, they've got a similar thing on there, but it is actually really, really powerful. So if we start in 3 seconds, 3, 2, 1, breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. And then hold for 4. And breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. And hold for 4. Now the idea is that you do that, you breathe in through your nose and then you breathe out through your mouth. So in through your nose, out through your mouth. And you do that for sort of 5 to 10 times. And try and do it. You can do this while boiling the kettle, making a cup of tea. You can do it while sitting at your computer screen, maybe turn around, look out the window, and try and do it maybe 3 to 4 times a day. To do this during the day, but then in the evening time before you go to bed, you can change this. So you can make it breathing in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and then breathing out for 6. So you're just making that exhale breath slightly longer, and then you're holding it for 2. Now, some of you may struggle. I struggled at the beginning. You know, you might not be able to do it for 4 seconds, or suddenly, you know, you're doing it for 3 seconds. It doesn't really matter. Just practice it. You might want to start off with 3 seconds and then build it up. The idea is if you can get to relax, to get your relaxation system working in your body, it's actually your out breath that's really important. So if you can make your out breath longer, that's better. One other tip is if you watch babies breathing, they breathe through their belly, so not through their chest. So the idea is you breathe in through your belly and out through your nose. You'll notice if you're stressed, you will start breathing with your shoulders. That's because you're stressed. You need to try and breathe through your bellies. And if you watch young children breathing, you'll see their bellies going up and down rather than their chest. And this is just natural, and that's what we should be doing. But unfortunately, with technology and with just human nature, we've all become pretty bad at breathing. We breathe in through our chests, and we breathe in short, hold our breath sometimes for too long, and that can cause stress hormones to start working. So that's just one really simple way to try and help you through lockdown. The next session we're going to be looking at, so the first 2 sessions, we've got 1 session after this, but the first 2 sessions was setting the foundations, creating your why, setting some goals, learning how to set some goals. And now we're going to be looking at techniques to try and help you stay resilient through lockdown. Because this has been fairly successful and we've got quite a few teachers tuning in, I feel like I almost wanted to carry this on. I feel like teachers are at the short end of the stick here with quite a few things. They seem to be getting a lot of grief. Don't believe that's fair, and I think that they need more support. I don't think necessarily schools are to blame. Schools have got a lot on. School governors have got a lot on. So it's really what I wanted to try and create was a teacher wellbeing support hub. So this support hub really will just allow us to carry on doing maybe two of these type webinars per month that teachers can log on to, and it also allow you access to our teacher wellbeing app. We're currently having that going into schools, so the idea is that schools pay for that and then the teachers have the benefit. Some schools don't have the resources, so what we thought is actually let's allow teachers to actually personally get involved with that. So it's a values-based goal setting app. So basically you can set your values, set your goals, and also there's wellbeing content such as these type of webinars and things specific for teachers to help boost your mood and improve your performance. So it's also about aspirational stuff, ambition, about improving your career. So we're going to be putting stuff on there for that. Unfortunately, it's not for free. We obviously want to try and make it sustainable. So the idea is you can log in, go to our Become Inspired page and go to the Teacher Wellbeing Support Hub, which is what we're calling it. And the idea is that it's full access to the Become Inspired Teacher app. It's monthly wellbeing support webinars from myself and other professionals. It's going to be £9.50 per month or £99 per year. And yeah, you can give that a go. You can sign up at becomeinspired.co.uk, Teacher Wellbeing Hub, Support Hub. I've just noticed I've spelled Teacher Wellbeing incorrectly down there, over there. So yeah, but it's becomeinspired.co.uk, Teacher Wellbeing Support Hub, and you can sign up, and we'll get you set up for that. If anybody's got any questions on anything we've spoken about, please put it in the chat box now. I'll see if I can answer it. If not, I will see you hopefully all next week for our final session, where we'll be doing more wellbeing skills to try and help you get through lockdown as positively as possible.